All right, now I can say, hey, let's check out Luke Beasley versus Destiny on Piers Morgan. I heard that this was pretty good, so let's see.
Fascinating story. Senator Bradley, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you, Piers.
Well, joining me now are entrepreneur and Trump supporter Grant Cardone, the host of the Luke Beasley Show, Luke Beasley, the streamer and commentator Destiny, and the spokesperson for the Turning Point USA, Caitlin Sinclair. Let me start with you, Caitlin.
Oh.
What is going on with these drones? It is very odd, the whole thing.
Yes, Piers, I think this is one example, or I would say a microcosm of what has been happening on such a larger scale across this country, where you have the mainstream media, where you have the government elites telling
Beasley
the American
looks so
people,
serious.
don't believe your lying eyes. We had Alexandra Mayorkas being sent to be the media's darling this past weekend, Piers, going on all of the weekend shows, telling us there's nothing to see here. We had Adam Kinzinger tweeting out this morning on the show saying the drones are actually airplanes, nothing to see here. So the American people have every right to ask questions. This is a rhetoric that they've been told for the past 4 years. Don't believe you're lying.
Listen, somebody said that Piers Morgan, like they made the comparison between Piers Morgan and the lady from Home Alone 2. I can never not see it. So now every time I see Piers Morgan, I just think, oh, thank you, Kevin.
Eyes, don't believe you're lying.
Two turtle doves.
Ears, and they have every right to get answers to these questions. It's really hard for the American people to sit back and believe that the government can find the grandma who took a selfie on January 6th at the Capitol 4 years ago, but they can't figure out who's flying drones above New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, Destiny, this is probably not your normal wheelhouse of expertise, but as an American, are you not a bit freaked out by all this?
No, I mean, like FAA regulations happen so that drones can fly pretty high. We're in a pretty weird area right now where these are becoming like commercially available to consumers for the first time in a long time. A lot of the pictures and a lot of the video that is being shown is literally like airplane footage. Like you can see the FAA lights like that are done to regulation on these ships, but some people still insist on saying they're UFOs or coming from an Iranian mothership. I don't see any, I guess, like upside to baselessly speculating on what it is. I think people have a right to ask questions, of course, and we'll wait until we get, I guess, better answers about who it is.
But the longer we don't get told, are you not slightly twitchy that there's something very odd going on?
Not really. No, there's a billion different things that you could photograph.
He's playing into it, guys. Like the right wing wants this to be aliens so bad. Again, somebody had pointed out that the timing on this is so convenient.
At any point in the country, at any point in time, I don't know why we're obsessed with feeling like we're
class
constantly under threat
happening.
of being, destroyed or invaded by drones or invaded by, manufactured hurricanes or George Soros or like. It's just like the fear economy where we have to be afraid of every single new video that's posted. Like if these things started shooting missiles at us or something crazy like that happened, then yeah, that would be a huge problem, obviously. But I assume, and it's been stated by the authorities in New Jersey, that the federal government is looking into it. All you do is wait for answers.
I mean, Grant, what should be done about them in the meantime? I mean, people are going to start taking action, aren't they? They're going to start shooting at these things, aren't they?
Number one, the reason to be fearful is late 2019, it was whispered that there was a thing called COVID being exported. A bat, didn't know where it was coming from, this place called Wuhan.
He's one of these guys.
A year later, by the way, Donald Trump loses the election because of mail-in ballots, conveniently. And here we are today, after an election, before an inauguration. We have drones flying at night, not during the day. That would suggest infrared, looking for something. I would suggest a black swan event is being planned to disrupt Donald Trump in year one.
Swan event.
And to put him back on his heels. So when Destiny says,
guys, this is the whole thing. No, I'm calling this for what it is. This is the victim mentality, even when they won everything. Dude, this is how bad they want to be victims. Can you just, call them on this shit every time that you see anybody acting like this? Just you do know that you're not the victims right now. And somehow, some way, you're just yeah, the drones, they're creating a false flag attack. That's totally what this is. Just money in the fucking waters.
There's plenty
Even Trump isn't doing this. Trump comes out and he's just listen, I kind of know what it is. It's almost like I get these the same briefings as Biden, but then he goes and he's just Biden should release it. What the fuck, man?
There are reasons for America to be on high alert right now. The
Why
U.S.
doesn't
government should be trusted with one thing, to lie to the American people, because they repeatedly lie to the American people.
All right, Luke
Does that include
Beasley.
when
I mean,
Trump
that's
is
a pretty.
president? When Trump is the government, does he lie to the American people too, or is it just when Democrats are president?
Right now, we're talking about drones over New Jersey that no one can explain, and you want to make sense of it. Okay, the reason you can't shoot them
You
out
just
of
mentioned
here.
COVID in 2019. That was Trump who was president, right? That was his administration. So did Trump lie to us about COVID coming from China?
I don't think you nor anybody on the panel or anyone listening or watching right now suggests that Donald Trump created the Wuhan virus.
I never said that, but you said that apparently people knew about it. It's just weird that right now the current administration is being blamed.
Drones by law cannot fly above 400 feet by law. So look, we know we see something in the sky, right? You agree with that? What is it?
Most of the videos,
that
I've seen.
All right, but let me bring in. Hang on, let me bring in Luke, because you've been listening to this. I mean, look, Grant. On one level, you might say, well, Grant's just putting out conspiracy theories, but that's what happens.
That's what he.
Yeah, but okay, you don't actually know that, because we don't have the official
Oh my God, they're doing
and
that
the longer
now?
it goes on,
You don't
the more
actually know
theories
that
are
it's not a conspiracy theory. He could be just as right as you. Oh my. But then he does the thing where he's going to sit there and just be like, oh, you know that very sensible explanation for that? Nah.
fly around, and one of them, by the way,
dork.
one of them is going to be right.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the official
Well,
story
hang on.
doesn't
Let me
matter.
bring in
Let's say
Luke.
the
Let me bring in. Hang on, Destiny. Let me bring in Luke. Luke.
That's kind of the whole way that people like Grant do media, is you make a bunch of these bold predictions. People forget months later when the thing you said never actually happened. So there's going to be some sort of crazy thing that hurts Trump's first year, and the drones are a part of that. He can just lightly throw that out, freak people out. We'll probably get a more clear answer that's not that provocative very quickly, and then Grant will move on and keep making more predictions. People,
it's
like
literally
going to
be the thing where it's just like, oh yeah, we're testing new government drones, and he's just going to be like, oh, and it's going to be Trump who says it. Like, I have a feeling he'll be the one to just let it out, and Luke just made a great point. They're just going to forget about it, and then we move on.
Space, a lot of bold statements right before the election about how the Democrats were never going to accept it. There's no way they would possibly accept the election results, and they immediately do, as we talked about last time I was on here. So again, these false predictions are kind of nauseating.
Yeah, where's your
and
retraction, Piers?
That one I can tell you. But then I'll also say that a lot of
Well,
the
hang on,
videos
okay, but hang on,
that have been
Luke,
shared
hang on,
around-
Luke,
Yeah, let me just-
hang on,
you asked me
Luke,
about-
hang on. Let me just say, when it comes to false predictions, how about this one? I will never pardon my son, Hunter Biden. It's not going to happen.
That was a
It
potential.
will not happen. The president's not going to do it. What's the matter with you people? It's not going to happen. What happened to that false prediction?
And the day he said,
I missed the crazy Piers Franklin.
Look how triggered you all get when I point that out. Look how you know the worst thing about what Joe Biden did there?
Such a bad big
He
asshole.
basically has caused you guys to go into a triggering anaphylactic shock now
Let me
for the
answer
rest
the
of your
question.
natural lives. Because by doing
here's
what
the
he
difference,
did,
though.
he just ruined it for you. He ruined
Piers,
it.
for us, we actually stand on principle. So I don't know about Destiny's take on this, but I've said he shouldn't have done that.
Good.
And it seems like he misled us whenever he said he wasn't going to, because we actually can criticize the person who represents, our party during a time. Whereas on your end,
weird.
you'll flip-flop on every single principle to stay and
That
defend.
means that he made a good point that I can't be objective about Donald Trump and haven't been objective about Donald Trump in a long time, but I still claim to be a centrist and be reporting from a centrist position. Fuck you,
And I don't
Piers.
have an end, mate. I'm British. Just
Yeah,
remind
I
you.
know.
Let me go to change the topic to the ABC Trump defamation case. I mean, Kate,
Wait,
this is.
can we ask Grant? Because let's say the story comes out. Let's say the government, because he said he's waiting for an official story. Let's say the government comes out and they say, "Oh, it was irresponsible hobbyists. We've ascertained this."
Yeah.
Would Grant even accept that story, or we insist that there's something more going on?
I'll buy you dinner every night for 365 days in a row if that comes true.
Wow.
That ain't
Okay,
gonna
so you won't
happen,
even
pal.
answer the question. This is what I
Okay.
mean. It's just like
Now-
it's all
now
conspiratorial
onto the
nonsense.
Trump
But you
victory.
can't,
Onto the Trump
hang on. You can't expect people to just hypothetically. I mean, the only person that gives a kind of
can't expect people to answer a
blanket
hypothetical?
thing like
What?
that is Biden when he's pardoning his mates. It's like you can't just
I
give
don't
a
know what
blanket
Biden
thing.
pardoning anybody has to do with this.
All right, but
It's a
look,
simple question. If the government came out with an official story, would you even believe it? The answer is no, unless Donald Trump says it. Then
Well,
I guess
actually,
you
I think you should view. I think you should view everything that comes out of the government with a lot of skepticism, healthy skepticism,
Yes.
actually. So the answer would
Unless
be,
Trump says it.
Yeah, unless
I
it's
hear
Trump's
you.
government.
Let's make sure that is what happened. Would be my honest response. But that's
Well,
my.
is there any single thing that either of the two MAGA panelists have heard from Donald Trump that they don't believe
Excuse me.
ever in the 4 years of him in government and the 4
It's
years
really
out?
bold of you. It's really bold of you and Luke to
No
just
answer. There's not
classify
gonna be an
and
answer for that.
generalize the MAGA population. Yeah, there is an answer, actually. On November 5th, there was a mandate from the American people to actually question our government, to actually dismantle some of these three-letter agencies. That was a mandate from the American people. So yes, I think we have every right to question what we're told.
Well, why don't we get to
Was there
what
an
I want
answer
to?
there?
Hang on,
You
hang
don't have
on.
the
the right
answer.
to question what
I
you
want to
think.
move to another
Piers,
topic.
Piers, let's get to the
One
ABC
thing. Wait,
story
what's
because
one
I
thing
have
they
some
heard from Trump that they
personal
don't
data
believe?
about it.
Well, here's the
It's
thing.
not
Here's the thing we
recorded.
have heard about Trump, which turned out that we couldn't believe, even though it came from George Stephanopoulos. Caitlin, this is the ABC defamation payment of
Oh,
$15
my
million
goodness.
to President-elect Trump to settle a defamation lawsuit after Stephanopoulos repeatedly said he'd been found liable for rape, which he had not. This is a big settlement by ABC, including an apology. Very, very humiliating for Stephanopoulos. But he was so self-righteous in that interview as well, despite being, as it turned out, completely wrong in what he was saying.
Yeah, it looks like we're triggering some people on this panel, Piers. I think the women on The View have their panties in a knot right now after this case with ABC. The mainstream media is on notice now. And again, that plays into the mandate that we found on November 5th in the American people, saying they're sick of the hypocrisy, they're sick of the lies, they're sick of the mainstream media feeding them information that is absolutely false. And look, Kamala Harris had over 80 billionaires. She had the entire legacy media. She had all of the Hollywood elites, most of big tech, and she still lost. And she lost everything. So again, this is a mandate from the American people about what they want, and they want to dismantle the legacy media here.
Okay, Destiny, it is a crushing blow for Trump against the legacy media, whichever way you dress it up. If you're going to posture that Trump, as a lot of people in mainstream media do, he's a terrible liar, you've got to hold
These
him to
people
account.
are
blah, blah, blah,
insufferable.
blah, blah. If you hold him to account in the wrong manner and you end up giving him $15 million and a groveling apology, that's a terrible thing, isn't it, for mainstream media?
It's a pretty small payout for a defamation lawsuit, considering the stakes of this particular
That's because
lawsuit.
Trump's a big
My
man.
guess is
That's because Trump
my
allowed the
guess-
settlement.
Trump is
Destiny.
not a big man. Trump is a coward. Okay, Trump
is
is
a
not a
huge
big
man.
man. He's a
That
little
could
boy.
have been a
But
billion-dollar lawsuit.
again,
This guy
don't
needs a
look like
daddy
one.
so
and again,
bad.
Destiny?
Like the last
He's a
question I
big,
asked,
strong man. Don't make fun of my daddy. My daddy will beat your daddy up. That's all these guys are. Seriously, you want to talk about some of the most pathetic people in all of fucking media?
Neither conservative, neither MAGA person on here will answer, which is, do you disagree with anything that Trump did in his 4 years? Or is there anything that he said that you didn't believe? Neither side will answer that. Okay, but the second thing is, too, when you
Yes.
say this was a
My answer is
crushing,
yes.
when you say that this was a
Usually I wouldn't even entertain this, but who's the skank on the panel? I don't know, but she does kind of fit that criteria.
crushing blow,
Yeah.
okay, to the legacy media. What do we think about the $800 million that Fox News paid out when they lied about the Dominion voting
What's that
machines?
got to
Which,
do
by the
with
way, is
this?
a lie that both these MAGA people
Why do
probably
you always
still believe in.
distract? Why do you always
not
distract
a distraction.
Destiny?
That's what you just
Do you know
did,
what?
Piers.
Sometimes
That's what you
it would be
just
very-
did
That is
with the
direct-
party.
That's what you just-
Sometimes, Destiny, rather than
It's the
distract.
exact
same thing.
Hang on, Luke. Rather than distract constantly, Destiny, it would be so much more effective. And I like you know I do. If you just said, you know what, on this one, ABC got it wrong, big mistake, paid a big check.
ABC did not get it wrong. That's
They
not
did.
even true.
Why have they
He did it.
apologized and paid him $15 million?
Piers,
Because they didn't want
Piers,
to
I
go
have
through
personal
discovery and months of
Why?
a lawsuit
Why,
against the guy
though?
who's threatening
Why?
to pull licenses for people in the media. He said that Stephanopoulos said that he felt like Trump raped her, that he raped the woman. She was held liable for rape. He penetrated her with his fingers. Now, in New York, I think the civil statute or whatever is for sexual assault and not rape per se. But, like, it's not like he was wrong. He's
Can't
not
control
hanging
the
up because he
narrative and
thinks
they're
that he lied
panicking.
about
Yep.
what he
He
said.
was
That's
wrong. It was
nonsense.
not. It was
What's
not
up?
liable
No,
for
it's
rape.
obvious. It's obvious that Trump's constant promises to go after the outlets that wrong him, his constant promises to get the government to come down hard, his quote, not mine, on MSNBC, is what now outlets, unfortunately, like ABC, are afraid of. So they're wanting this to be over quickly, as opposed to going to war with Trump, who's explicitly targeted them. And it's crazy that y'all are more outraged that Stephanopoulos used one term that in common parlance is synonymous with sexual assault, instead of the
It's
fact
actually
that
not,
Trump
though. That's
was
where you're
found
wrong.
liable.
Sorry,
Trump
it's where
was
you're wrong.
found liable of
Sorry,
sexual
I'm
abuse.
sorry.
No, the judge.
I'm sorry,
Please,
Luke.
Piers,
Luke,
just
you're
last and
making,
then go.
Luke,
The
you're
judge
making exactly
actually
the
clarified
Luke, you're making the
that
same
that's what
mistake,
that
Luke.
means.
With respect, you're making the same mistake. It is not the same thing. Otherwise, there would not be
Then why
different
did the judge
categories.
clarify
Hang
that?
on. There would not be different categories of sexual assault and rape. They are different crimes. So if you accuse somebody of the more serious offence of rape, wrongly, repeatedly, in an interview, as Stephanopoulos did, that is defamation and has now cost him and his network $15 million.
That is absolutely
So you're right
not
that there's a
defamation. Absolutely not.
specification. There's a specification
If
between
it was, they
what
would
the
have got a
jury's
higher
deciding
they would
on
have gotten a real
sexual.
settlement.
Hey, you guys, neither one of you guys know anything about a libel case. Okay,
Wait,
this is a
how about
defamation
the
case.
two MAGA people on the panel?
could have
Are you
won a
as
billion-
outraged
Excuse me,
that Trump
excuse me,
was
Piers.
found liable for
Piers.
sexual abuse?
Hang on,
then
let
I'll
Grant,
use the
let
correct
Grant
language
respond.
for you.
Let Grant respond.
Alex Brito is Donald Trump's lawyer on this defamation case. They settled this case in less time than when I filed a defamation case against T-Mobile, the CEO of T-Mobile, for $100 million. We will win the entire thing, by the way. Donald Trump could have got way more than $15 million. That's why I
No, they
said
won't.
Destiny, he's a big man.
Honestly,
You
it's
can't
kind of
swallow
funny
that
because
he's a big man, but he's a
these defamation lawsuits, even from Trump's like judges, they don't actually hold up. The idea that Piers could be so disingenuous about that ABC one and not understand that, you know, they would have to pull licenses. He knows exactly how that would go. So he is being a complete fucking weasel on this
the
one.
big man that he put this behind him because he's got bigger fish to fry, which is to make America the great country it can be. And that's what he's
What a
focused on
joke.
right now. He's going to take his $15 million, throw it in a charity.
Yeah, but
$1 million for
Destiny,
Alex
hang on.
Brito.
Destiny, you talk about cowardice.
This is a massive win to
A massive win. $15 million. Yeah.
Yeah, but Destiny, here's the point. Yeah, but Destiny, you call Trump a coward. What could be more cowardly if, as you say, there was no defamation, Stephanopoulos was right, what could be more cowardly than a
ABC
major...
is
hang on, Luke, I'm
cowardly.
not talking to you. What could be more cowardly, Destiny, than a major network in America, mainstream media network, just caving to Donald Trump and giving him a big check?
Is this a game we're playing? Maybe the other people, Luke might know. I don't know about the other two like morons here. You're a big boy. You work in this field, and I know that you're old enough to be smart enough to know this. I don't know. We're just playing a game right now, okay? If you have a defamation case facing you like that, you know that Discovery could unveil who knows what. Not necessarily illegal conduct, but just stuff that can go to the press that might make you look bad. Trump might get more than $15 million of earned media just from the treasure troves of the discovery process of that case. Why not just pay out $15 million and walk away from it? By the way, if you were falsely accused of rape and that was a totally false accusation, do you really think that Donald Trump, a guy who has spent how many hundreds of millions of dollars between all of his different lawsuits, would walk away with $15 million? Of course not. He would have gone for way more if he thought he had a legitimate case there, but that's probably about how much they were willing to settle, knowing that they could avoid the discovery process. You know this, Piers.
Just to add one other point on this, because I brought it up multiple times with you, Piers, and I would love to get an answer on it relating to this. Is there any outrage? Is there any outrage that Trump today was saying, yeah, and this is just the beginning. We're going to go after all these different outlets and Seltzer for doing a poll that Trump didn't like. Trump says he wants to go after. And he specifically said the government should come down hard on MSNBC. That's exactly against what I know the two other MAGA folks on the panel say constantly about their principles, which is pro-freedom of the press, but then Trump's constantly talking about the press in ways that prove that's
I
very
think,
much not his
I think if on the Democrat side, if you go after someone like Donald Trump relentlessly and you try and imprison him relentlessly and you try
Then
and
he gets
ruin
to
his life
attack
and you
you
try and
with the
do
government.
everything you can to destroy him and incarcerate him, and then he wins and he flatlines you all in the election, yeah, a little part of it's probably thinking, yeah, there's going to be a bit of pain. Sorry, going to be a bit of payback. Sorry.
Piers,
all right, cool. I like the Constitution, unlike y'all then. I don't know.
Yeah, and meanwhile, your guy, President Biden, is out there pardoning half of America, including his criminal
guy.
son.
I
So
love
the
how
high
he always
moral
does
ground is
that.
just
That is
disintegrated.
unconstitutional. None of that is
Disintegrated.
unconstitutional. And by the way, Hunter Biden is not even implicated in crimes related to Joe Biden.
Wait, how
Was there
is
any
that not
coverage here?
Well, hang on. Actually, Destiny. Actually, hang on.
Not the big guy.
Actually, that's
the entire investigation was
you
based
don't
off
know
a lie.
that.
Was that covered here?
You
at all?
don't know that,
Nope,
and the
I won't
beauty.
talk about it.
You don't know that, and the beauty of the all-encompassing thing that Biden did from going back to 2014 is it covers all potential crimes from 2014.
Republicans
the Hunter
have been
Biden,
investigating
hang
those
on,
crimes
the
for
Biden,
so long.
the Hunter Biden could have committed, which we don't know, but
years
may have
to find
included
this,
the
and he
big
got
guy
nothing.
being Joe Biden. So he's
The big
protecting
guy was not
himself
Joe
as well.
Biden. 8 years they had, and they found
I'm
nothing.
on
With
Fox
all the
News.
subpoena power, all the congressional subcommittees, Donald Trump's FBI, Donald Trump's DOJ, 8 years and nothing. Not a thing.
Destiny, I get the feeling you're struggling with this Trump win, the scale of it.
I'm not struggling at all. I just struggle with the fact that people are so comfortable lying with impunity because they never get called out on these shows. It drives me insane.
Yeah, but when your side lie, like George Stephanopoulos, you don't call it lying. So what
He
is a
didn't
lie?
Trump
Is a
raped
lie
that
only
woman.
when
Most people would
Republicans
agree
lie?
in common parlance that was rape. Yes, I think it's totally
Piers,
fine to say
the
that.
judge
It's not.
clarified
wasn't
that.
rape.
The judge literally clarified that that's the case. What Destiny just said, the judge literally clarified that the way we speak about these terms in a legal sense, it's not, but in the way we speak commonly about these words, what Trump was found liable of is what we refer to as rape, even if in a legal sense that's not what he was found liable for.
Do you want me to send Trump a clip of you saying that?
That is
Send it.
not
Send it.
what
Shoot
the
it. Come
judge
for me,
said at
Trump.
all.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
You know,
you keep.
it's so funny.
I can
here.
accept service.
Caitlin?
Sue me. Yeah, what do you mean?
I won't be cowards like ABC.
It's so funny how you gentlemen keep referring to us as the MAGA people on this panel. You call us morons. I'm going to start referring to you gentlemen as snowflakes over there. Maybe you haven't looked at the post-election polling in this country, but guess what? The men in this country, the young men in this country, showed up for Donald Trump in droves. And you want to know why, gentlemen? Because they were sick of being emasculated, because they were sick of being lied to, and they were sick of being guilty until proven innocent. The real men in this country I'm talking to, maybe not alluding to.
You're going to trigger them.
Huh?
Triggered.
You guys,
I don't even know what that
don't even
point
accept
meant,
the
but okay.
outcome of the 2020 election. And you're trying to say
They're trying to bring back the trigger. They miss being victims already. Look at this, guys. Now they're trying. Now they're pivoting from being the oppressed. Oh, we're just so oppressed. Look at the left. They're so triggered. And we're all just kind of sitting here. We're just like, no, we're not. We're just giving you facts. Triggered.
we're triggered. You guys are the biggest babies in the history of
Thank
all of
you,
mankind.
Destiny.
Like, I don't know.
Which is why you're the one resorting to name calling, right? You're so triggered, you just resort to name calling.
If
yeah,
I
we're the ones.
call a
triggered.
moron a moron, that means I'm triggered. What does that make Donald Trump, who literally has nicknames for every single political opponent he has, then?
What do you think he'd call you, Destiny?
I don't know. I got a lot of nicknames online, so who knows?
There's an interesting thing coming. Sorry, pardon my lurgy, as I call it. Trump has threatened legal action against the Biden administration over sales of portions of the border wall. He's talked to the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, about a potential restraining order. Let's have a listen to this clip.
Now, we ordered an additional 200 miles of wall. It's very expensive. And now it's about double the price of what it would have been 6 years ago. And the administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act.
Yeah, I mean, Grant, there's a lot of activity on that border, obviously, but that specific point that Trump makes about the Biden administration selling portions of it, what do you make of that?
Well, they're just sabotaging his ability to put that wall up. It's costing the taxpayer dollars. It's just a complete waste of money. You literally have supplies down there that have been paid for by taxpayer money. It's, $150 million worth of wall down there that was abandoned. And now they're going to sell that. So he's got to go back and repurchase that 8 years later at new prices. It's sabotage, okay? The other side, these guys over here, I'm sorry, Caitlin, you said they're not men, so I can't call them men. So you guys will do anything to sabotage this MAGA movement, which is not a Republican movement, by the way. This is Make America Great Again. And this country has more resources, more opportunities. The first 90 days when he gets in office, Piers, is going to be phenomenal for this country. I don't know if it converts these guys, but the country's going to get on board with this thing.
Okay.
Yes, that's why everybody on the right now is coping with the idea of, oh, you're telling me that if these economists are right that I'm going to be paying more? You mean the people that are spending less this holiday season because they're worried about the economy? Yeah, they're really showing with their wallets that they're so confident in Donald Trump bringing the economy back.
Okay, I mean, Destiny, here's what I would say generally.
Yeah. All that confidence went out the fucking window the second that he even went, you know what? Maybe the groceries won't come down. I might have accidentally made an oopsie poopsie. I did just make an oopsie poopsie. That's why I smell so bad. Yep. Another one.
About the reaction to Trump's win. It's been noticeable for the extreme lack of any protests. No marches, no big protests. It's like you guys have just thrown the towel in. Have you given up collectively? The resistance seems to be over.
Trump won the election. What are you going to do? I guess
Well,
if you're a
last time you
conservative and the
took to
other
the
side wins
streets
the
en
election, then
masse
I guess
around
you try
America.
to overturn it, or you
Yeah,
try to
and guess
coup the
what you
government
guys
like they
called
tried last
that?
time.
Look at the way you guys were just like, you guys also protested.
But no, you're a Democrat. You go back to work. That's all you could do. Wait till the next election. Wait till midterms.
why
do what
is
you
that
can.
your
Democrats
takeaway,
work?
Piers? That doesn't make any sense.
No, I'll tell you what's my
Wow,
takeaway,
look at how
because
much
I
they
think that-
respect the election results. It's so weird.
No, because last time you didn't. Last time you took to the streets in massive numbers in city after city around America, protesting and screaming about Trump. This time it's been nothing. It just makes me think you've all lost the stomach for the fight.
I feel like last time you told me that people were crying on the internet.
What's that, Luke?
I think
They're
last
tapped
time we
out.
went over this, you said that there are a lot of liberals crying and we're sensitive and we're combusting.
Well, there's a few
but
of you
for
left
us,
on the
it's just,
internet,
we
but that's
accept the
about it.
results.
But when
We
it comes
accept
to
the
any sort
results.
of...
We're going to get to work on trying to oppose his bad policies when they pop up. There's just no need to have the MAGA type hyperbolic reaction where you get violent or where you question the results for 4 years and stuff like that.
Right. You don't think that's how you all reacted in 2016 when he won?
Do you think that's how the
That's not
conservatives
how I
acted in
reacted.
2020 when they tried to steal the election?
Well, 2020...
That'll be overturned, by the way.
Well, just to be clear, Trump did, in my
The 2020
estimation...
election?
Just to be clear, Trump did not have the election stolen. Trump
J6,
lost the election in
J6,
2020 because of the
January 6th.
pandemic.
Yes, he's referring
I told
to.
him this to his face. Caitlin, this whole issue of the border, it is staggering that nearly 10 million people came in illegally in the Biden administration, the 4 years. Staggering.
Yeah, Piers, I'm sitting here in Manhattan where Tom Homan recently had a meeting with Democrat Mayor Eric Adams, who announced that we have 500,000 missing migrant children on the border. That number started at 100,000 and went up to 300,000, and now the number they're giving us is 500,000, which leads me to believe that number's closer to 1 million children that are missing on the border. So that should really concern all Americans.
You had a
7-year-old.
I was about to say.
You had a 7-year-old
Shut
that was
up.
just murdered by an illegal alien. She is part of the black community. A 7-year-old.
God.
You didn't see Kamala Harris taking to
Yeah,
Twitter,
this
or she
woman
took
is-
to Twitter to talk about George Floyd dying over 24
Cool.
times. She didn't mention the 7-year-old's name not once. Where's BLM now, Piers? And you want to call this MAGA hyperbole or narrative? Really, is it MAGA hyperbole when Laken Riley was murdered, when Molly Tibbetts was murdered, when Rachel Morin was murdered?
How are
What
these
about these
thousands
young
of people
women that
dying
were
to illegal immigrants, and it's like the same name brought up for a whole year? Do we not have any new people killed by illegals, or what?
Oh, do those-
I was
do
told there
those
were
lives not
40,000
matter?
murderers
Do
that
those
came
lives
in.
not
How is
matter?
nobody else died but Laken Riley? She's the only one, or they all named Laken Riley. What the fuck?
All right, Destiny, out of interest, how many illegal
I'm
immigrants...
sure her family will appreciate that.
Yeah, listen,
Hey,
out of
Squishmallow,
interest, Destiny,
I'm
how
glad
many
that you can
illegal
pop in
immigrants
again.
would you be comfortable coming in to America next year, 2025?
The ideal number is as close to zero as possible.
Okay, so you agree with Trump?
No, because Trump isn't doing anything to address the illegal
Would
immigrant
he
problem.
like it to be zero as well? So you agree, in principle, you agree.
I'm sure you'll.
Trump
I'm
doesn't
sure
know
everyone's
what-
yeah, so
animal-
we don't
selling
have a
our
problem
border
in this
wall.
country
Sure.
right now. For anybody
selling
that
our
cares,
border wall,
and I know
like
Hang on,
it's a
don't
yard
talk
sale.
over
It's
each other.
definitely
Let
doing
Destiny answer. Destiny?
Yeah, no, we don't. The issue that we have right now is not with illegal immigrants. It's going to be fixed with a stupid wall. The issue that we have right now is with the asylum-seeking process. Donald Trump and all the MAGA people are too stupid to even understand how the process works. So we're never going to fix it under Trump, unless the Democrats manage to push some legislation that the Republicans agree with, and Trump stumbles
And you
into
think
and
you got
signs.
fixed under the Democrats, do you, in the last 4 years?
No, but they had a bill that was ready to go in the House and the Senate, and Biden was ready to sign it, and then Trump pulled the plug on it. So
All right, so it's Trump's fault.
Trump, who
Okay,
wasn't in
quickly, can I
office.
just jump in?
definitionally is.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz, Mitch
Just
McConnell, Langford
quickly.
came out and literally said, yes,
All right,
we had a bill
Luke,
ready to go.
Luke,
Donald Trump pulled the plug on it.
I'm sure we'll all be happy that we've seen a massive plummet in border crossings in the last few months. And to the point that's previously made, there was legislation that could have done more. But even aside from that, there's been massive progress made. So Trump would be
how has there
inheriting a
been
situation
progress made if
even
Trump
better
stopped any? Well, hang on. If Trump stopped any progress, sorry, hang on, Luke.
Yeah.
If Trump stopped any progress, how are you making progress in the last few months?
No, I'm saying after finally, which I think they should have learned this lesson earlier, finally Democrats realized they weren't going to get support from Congress. Then Biden did what he could just through the executive
So why
branch.
didn't you do that before?
Yeah, I agree with you. He should have done it earlier.
Right,
but he was thinking we could do a
so
more
it wasn't
systemic
Trump's fault.
solution.
It was bad
hold on.
politics
Don't
by
even- wait,
a
that's
president
not-
who's
we
asleep
could
at the
do a more-
wheel.
The issue with doing
Systemic
things
solution.
right now.
Yeah,
The issue right now, we're crying over border wall stuff being sold. The issue with doing things by executive order is that things that can be done with executive order can be rescinded with executive order.
Right.
This way that we've approached border and immigration policy through presidential actions is insane. We need legislation from Congress. We need bills, comprehensive bills that are going to address the problem, not these temporary actions that the president can do via executive order. We shouldn't champion when that happens. Republicans used to be opposed to all of this encroaching federal power from the executive branch, but I guess now when it's Donald Trump, they celebrate it.
And then one just little stat to end us with, I'm sure they'll also credit the Biden administration with releasing less migrants with criminal records in the country than the Trump administration. You can look
I think
that
when
up.
you let in 10 million illegal immigrants in 4 years, you don't really get
I'm just
to make
saying
any,
less
you
undocumented
don't
immigrants
get
with
to
criminal
take any
records
victory
than
laps,
Trump.
Luke. Sorry. I'm afraid that's
You're
it.
saying your concern was about criminals. Okay.
My concern is about safety and security, as always. You've got to have a
And I'm
secure
saying
border.
that Trump actually released
As
more
Ronald
undocumented
Reagan
immigrants
said,
with
if you
criminal
don't have a
records.
secure border, you don't have a country. We've got to leave it there.
I don't think
Always
you
good
heard
to talk to you all. Thank you very much indeed.
All right.
Well, returning to Uncensored now is the
Who?
Harvard mathematician and podcaster, Dr. Eric Weinstein.
Nope. Don't care. Fuck this guy. Oh, that's fun. All right, so that was not a debate between Beasley and Destiny, the way that it was described. So I'm sorry about that. It was actually pretty annoying and insufferable, and God, at some point I just have to understand that these are never going to go the way that I want them to, because Piers really is just that insufferable, and he's just, God, he's so bad faith. He really is. Like, he knows exactly how to, like, get these, like, the clips. He knows how to do all this, but well, got a little thing going on in chat here. That's fun. But appreciate you guys sticking through that segment. We're going to move on to the next one. I really appreciate you guys checking out my content. If you guys can let me know in the comments below what you thought, that'd be much appreciated. Leave a like and sub to the channel if you haven't already. Either way, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.